welcome back to the third part of the 11th episode of India Shining YouTube channel. We continue to bring all the positive news that happen around the world with respect to India. Now, we are going to start once again with the national policies, and here one of the big developments that's been coming up and which is going to help our country a lot is the farm data is going to go public. So the idea is very simple. All the information that the government and the agencies have been collecting over the years will be seeded, like things like crop pattern, the soil health, the insurance, the credit, weather patterns into a single database. And all this database will be analyzed using artificial intelligence and data analytics. And the goal is to develop personalized services for a sector replete with challenges such as peaking yields, water stress, degrading soil, a lack of infrastructure including temperature controlled warehouses and refrigerator trucks. So these are all the challenges that we have in our country with respect to which kind of stifles the possibility of the farm sector exploding and doubling or tripling of our revenues. Now we know the government's thinking has been to double the farm revenues over a period of time. Now, all these data that has been collected so far, it's just been remaining, and now for the first time, the government is open to signing an agreement with the big companies and allow them to use this data and to develop proof of concepts to offer such solutions for the entire value chain, right from farm to fork, and which will allow the farmers to have access to these proof of concepts. And if they are found to be good and if they are found to be beneficial, then the firms will be allowed to sell this as a final product to the government or directly to the growers and users. Now this is an extremely interesting development because the data is going to be put to good use, and without the data good solutions will never come. And the more and more we are able to shift the solutions away from government controlled agencies to private sector, maybe it will cost you a little, but people will be able to come up with extremely useful information. Now, it is not necessary that everything that goes to a private hand will be costly, because a lot of things like your Google Maps or your Google searches are completely free. So there's also a possibility that these technology companies come with a very low cost module for people to be able to consume the services. So far the government has seeded these publicly available data of more than 50 million farmers, and nearly 120 million identified landholding growers have also been seeded into this data. So that is a substantial amount of data, close to 50 million farm owners and 120 million identified landowners. So there could be some very interesting solutions that can come up. So some of the companies which have shown interest in this is Star AgriBazaar, Patanjali, NinjaCart, Amazon, Microsoft, Cisco System, and Geo Platform, and ITC. ITC has had a very long history of having a very collaborative approach with farmers. They were one of the first people to bring a concept called e-Choupal. So I think there's going to be exciting times ahead, because the farm data getting into something that can create a product for them or services for them is going to be very useful. Now, what you can see in the recent times, if you watched all the earlier two parts also and this, now suddenly we see there is a very clear change in the way the government is thinking. So the government has suddenly moved away from having a very restrictive or a controlled approach to something that's very different. So we have been some of the things which we have, at least I've been able to spot, is a trend where we are seeing that the government is moving away from penalizing to incentivizing. Now, production linked incentive is a classic example. So earlier the government's approach was always to penalize if you didn't do something, and now we have something like government is incentivizing you for doing something better. And it is not shying away from helping businesses under stress. So the telecom moratorium is something that's a step in this right direction. So we have always had the Western countries, like the US government stepped in during the automobile crisis in the 70s and 80s, and subsequently also during the subprime crisis, the American government had taken stakes in companies, and then subsequently when they turned around, they sold the stocks and they made profit. So you are seeing that the Indian government was always shied away from doing this because it was very bad political publicity. So now giving a moratorium to technology is now trying to, feeling comfortable with helping businesses. And then the government is also thinking of creating infrastructure as their primary job rather than controlling things. So the asset monetization is a very excellent idea, where the fruits of the earlier initiative is being plowed back into creating more infrastructure. And also the other development that we are seeing is government is now very clear in its objective, that where they are realizing that they have to leave the business to the industry. So during the end of 70s, just after the emergency, we had the nationalization of assets, and now we are having the denationalization of assets. So you are seeing the public sector disinvestment program is a case in the direction. And we are also seeing the government is getting very proactive, that we are having a free trade agreement discussions going on with the EU, European Union, and you are seeing the foreign secretary right now being in Mexico, trying to create some trade agreements with them. So we are having these discussions of trade agreement with many countries, so which means the government is slowly getting a little bit more proactive to provide good export opportunities for the industries down here. And they are also very open to setting right their earlier mistakes. So the opening up of a bad bank, which we discussed some time back in the previous episode, previous part, and then also letting go the retrospective taxes. So now you suddenly see the government extending an olive branch and saying Cain Energy, which actually filed a suit against the government of recovering their amount, which was an award that they got. And so the government has gone back to Cain, and both the parties have agreed. Cain has agreed to withdraw all the suits that have been filed in the international courts, and the government has agreed to settle the money. So going back, revisiting and setting right your past mistakes is all a very clear sign of a government willing to accept that they made a mistake. Even the new drone policy, which was quickly changed, the earlier policy came in March, and then immediately we had a corrective policy. So we are seeing suddenly the government's approach to economy has completely changed. So as we said, moving away from penalizing to incentive, opening up the gates. So which means there's going to be a lot of interesting welcome signs for the industry going forward. And coming to the corporate news, there are something which is very significant. For the first time, Tata Airbus combine is going to make around the C295 MW transport planes. Now this is the first major military defense for private sector. So the deal is for 56 aircrafts. These are transport aircrafts. These will replace the Avro aircraft, which has been in the Air Force for quite some time, since I was a kid. So this is another major initiative. So you're going to see that defense sector, private defense sector, and the components associated with that will become a major employment generator in India. So just like the first Maruti plant came in outskirts of Delhi, and then suddenly India became an automobile hub, and then the same way we have right now two defense corridors. And then there's this first defense deal with a private sector company. Sometime back we saw that ammunitions were being made in collaboration with a private company, and then we are seeing this aircraft deal coming up. So which is a very clear sign of a shift that defense and defense ancillaries can be one of the major growth areas going forward. And this next very interesting news that's happened is Jindal Steel and Power has prepaid all their loans, almost most of their loans. So the close to 105.66 million, or around 7,777 crores has been repaid. So JSPL has so far bought down their loans from a peak of approximately 46,533 crores in Q3 of 2016-17 to 15,227 crores in Q1 of 2021-22. And they want to become a debt-free company by financial year ending 2023. Now, why is this news significant? Now, so suddenly you are seeing that still the big companies, they want to deleverage their balance sheet. So far, borrowing was seen as a sign of pride, though it should not be. And all the capital intensive companies like steel manufacturing or mining, they all used to have bloated loans in their balance sheet. But maybe it's because of COVID, or also because there is suddenly that the prices of steel has gone up substantially worldwide because of supply chain constraints. And companies like Jindal and Tisco, Tata Steel, who have their captive mines both for coal, iron ore, and an integrated steel plant, they are making more profits than before. But unlike before, what's happening is they are using to extinguish this loan. So this is a very strong trend that can come out, because extinguishing your loans would mean two things. You are deleveraging your balance sheet, therefore it's much better for your shareholders. But more importantly, this money could be available to small and medium enterprises. So this trend is a very positive trend. We already used to see earlier the public sector undertakings having a net zero debt status. Now private sector coming into that game is something of great significance. Continuing on the corporate news, Lucas TVS has become the first company in India to introduce semi-solid lithium-ion batteries. So they are collaborating with a company called 24M Technologies, which is a developer of next generation lithium-ion battery technologies. So they're going to build the first gigafactory and going to introduce the lithium-ion batteries in India. Now, as we discussed earlier in the earlier parts, the idea of government is also to have the advanced chemistry batteries technology available in India, and so that India can become the global hub for these kind of technologies. And this is a very good sign. So there's going to be some exciting times coming over here. Another very good event which all of Indians can be very proud of and be very happy is that the world's highest motorable road has been inaugurated in Ladakh. The earlier highest motorable road was also in India, called Khardungla Pass, which was at a height of 18,380 feet, and now this is called as the Kela Pass, and this is a stretch passing through 18,600 feet. So this has been constructed by 58 Engineers Regiment of the Indian Army, and it will reduce the travel time from Leh to the picturesque Pangong Lake. Now, this is a very strategically important lake, because this Pangong Lake was also very close to the center of contention between China and India during the recent border clashes, though the clashes never happened in Pangong Lake, because Pangong Lake is a very large lake, and the ridges that are adjoining the lake was always the point of contention. So Pangong Lake, the international border passes halfway through the lake. But for you to relate to what is Pangong Lake, this is the beautiful blue lake that you see in 3 Idiots movie, and now tourists will be able to go. There was always a small kacha road, and now maybe it's a pakka road. Now tourists will be able to reach. So one of the thinking of the government is to ensure that what is Indian territory needs to be left open to more Indians coming in. So maybe promote tourism in the border areas so that our right of authority is much more established. Just today we had a news item which said that the Indian government is going to allow people to go up to the base camp of Siachen Glacier. So we'll cover that in the next part of the India Shining YouTube channel, the next part. Viewers, thank you so much for constantly staying tuned, watching our channel, encouraging us with a lot of good comments. Please press the bell icon and subscribe. Refer us to your friends and family. We think a lot of Indians need this positive dose and positive approach to the life around us. We take a lot of efforts to compile all the good things that happen in the country, and amidst the color and the clutter and din of so many bad news that happens or are published, we try and cherry pick all the good news and try to put together, compile it and give it to you, so that you can deep breathe and with positivity and go about doing what you're good at doing. Thank you so much.